What is going on, everyone? My name's Boit, and I'm back with some more Age of Mythology. The Titans action spawning on the left side of the map in the red color, playing as Oranos. His name is Kvoth. His opponent today in the blue color, playing as Set. His name is Kimo. The map looks to be Savannah. Savannah the map. Oh dear. This giraffe running away from the impending death there. Kimo does decide to save it. He can reset this giraffe by sending the Pharaoh over to whack it if he wants to, or sending a villager over to shoot it away one more time, and it will come back to his granary. As we do see the rhinoceros on this position getting converted, but we do have a Set versus Oranos matchup. I'm quite fond of this matchup. I love this matchup from the perspective of the Set player, because there's just so many exciting strategies that you can do here in this matchup. So many different ways to play this one. You can go one town center, fast, heroic for some sort of a timing attack with shifting sands. You can go two town centers here into some fast, heroic, or even classical age, like defensive, boomy gameplay, hitting like crazy fast mythic timings and things like that as well. You can go for like fast shifting sand strategies. Now we do see Kvoth here. Kvoth's been playing against me too much, so he's starting to set up his buildings around the hometown center. This is a really important way to play against Set. It can slow down certain strategies that you might want to try here. I'm not sure Kimo's going to be going for that. If you advance quite fast, he would Set as well. On a map like Savannah, there's really not that many locations that your opponent's going to be able to be with his secondary hunt. So you can get a lot of value out of shifting sandsing onto that giraffe at the front of the base there, and killing off a lot of villagers at the start of the game, in all honesty. We also see an incredibly exposed gold mine here for Kvoth that he's going to have to be dealing with in the early stages of the game, that Kimo can very easily just send his Pharaoh forward onto and take out. The question is going to be, will Kimo... Yes, Kimo will see that. So Kimo is very aware right now of what he needs to do, but he is throwing down a monument to the villagers. If Kimo was going for some sort of early game cheese on that gold mine, you would want to skip this monument and try and advance to the second age as fast as you possibly can. The fact that you've got all these giraffe over here that you're eating, he's going to have plenty of food. He's also got the rhinoceros that he can utilize to eat as well. Grabbing these giraffe and sending them back home, very nice. Not going to have to wander over there and waste time on that one. The temple's coming up. We do see Kvoth going up through Prometheus very, very fast here. So no early game advantage here for Kimo. In fact, he's going to be advancing quite a bit later than I would expect here for Set, unless Set is going for a one talent and a fast heroic in this matchup. Generally speaking, Set wants to go for a 4-minute advance time, 402, or 402, 416, or 430 advance time at the very latest. As we see the temple coming up, it's going to be a 444 advance time here for Kimo if he actually has the resources to get there. He's also getting himself a lumber camp, so it kind of looks like Kimo is in fact going for a fast heroic here, as the Oracle Scouts coming in onto this position. Not going to be too much to worry about there, as the villagers finishing up on this hunt. Plenty of hunt going to be available in the main base here for Kimo as well to eat if he does decide to do so. We do see the walls coming up here. The box here, not the most efficient box I've ever seen in my life, but a box nonetheless. It's the army now, or the villagers of Kimo, are going to be retreating early here, not wanting to lose anything in this game. As a Promethean offspring coming through, we do see one counter barracks coming up, two counter barracks actually coming up here for Kvoth, as Kvoth is deciding, you know what? It was a mistake. It was a mistake to go, or he didn't actually even go for hunting dogs. So he's just going straight in on these Terma. Interesting. We'll see how it's going to go, as the relic has been found. The Titan's treasure not going to be that useful here, as the villagers are going to be able to get as much food as they want out of this giraffe, out of this rhinoceros here. Kimo's also going to get a handful of gazelle out as well that he can eat, so he should have plenty of food here for the time being. As we do see this giraffe going to be coming back as well. The walls are already up, and we do have the hero Terma roaming across the map. Going to be looking to get some damage done, as a barracks coming through here for Kimo. A barracks. What is the plan here for Kimo? This is a very, very... I'm confused. To say the very least, I'm confused. As the giraffe coming back in, we will be seeing... I thought he might have tried to snipe that giraffe out in the middle of nowhere there, but double barracks up for Kimo. What's the plan? Kimo going to be eating his animals in his main base. He doesn't have any resources in the bank, really, at this point. He can't get himself a second town center anytime soon here. But what is the plan? Potentially here, Kimo might be trying... He might be trying a very, very rare delayed villager rush. I could be wrong. The idea being... Oh, and we do see the shockwave coming in. I'm not sure I like that shockwave from Kvoth, but he will snipe the Wadget. But the idea being a delayed villager rush is where you get yourself a crazy amount of classical age units really fast as set. And then you vision, you shifting sands onto the town center. You take it down with a whole bunch of spearmen and slingers and priests and everything else. And it allows you to be on the offensive rather than on the defensive. But I could be misreading this completely, as we are seeing slingers coming through here for Kimo. Just going to be attempting to play defensive here with those slingers. The Term are going to be roaming in here. Get a little bit of damage done. A little bit of attempt at micro there. Snipes one slinger there for free. Nice play. Still pushing in to try and take even more slingers out as he doesn't quite snipe that one slinger down. Staying alive with 12 HP as the Pharoah coming through here to get a little bit of damage here. Nice micro yet again as the shifting sands does end up coming through here. And now no villager rush is available, but the Terma are going to be getting sniped down. These two Terma can run. How did that one get out of the box there? Do not know. The rest of those Terma for Kvoth will be falling here as the Slingers coming over to try and clean these bad boys up as fast as they possibly can here. And it looks like Kvoth will manage to snipe a couple of Slingers down as he does end up losing the remainder of his Terma. But God power down for Kimo. Kvoth's got to be feeling fairly happy about this position he's found himself in. Kimo in his main base, building Slingers. We will be seeing a town center coming up at the 7-minute mark. This is so safe from Kimo. But this town center does not give Kimo access to a second gold mine. Kimo does not have shifting sands remaining anymore. And the question is going to be, can Kimo even manage at this point to get to the heroic age? He's got himself a handful of goats remaining. He's only on one monument here. So spamming out Gazelle's not going to be that efficient. So we do see the Promethean offspring will be spotting that town center going up. Meanwhile, Kvoth getting his own town center on this position as well. I have a question. Why is Oranos in a good spot here? Well, the reason why Oranos is in a good spot is because all the gold mines are exposed. And Oranos here is going to be able to put pressure onto the gold mines of Kimo. I mean, he's still building Terma, which he probably doesn't need to at this point. He can start going into something different. But effectively here, Kimo grabbing the back town center this late means that he's put a lot of economy into getting villagers out, but the villagers are not going to be able to pay themselves off by the time he needs them to pay themselves off to get himself a second town center. So all Kvoth needs to do is find a gold staff here. As you do see the town center now up for Kvoth. He's at 74 or 75 population. Another option here for Kvoth is just to rush to the heroic age. He's going for a third town center though, as the economic guild going to be coming up. We do see these villagers have found themselves some giraffe over here, which is absolutely huge. Meanwhile, the Terma searching around, looking to take out some villagers on this position as well. Shadoof coming through. If, for example, here, Kvoth stops production of these Terma, puts everyone onto food. He's still got these... He hasn't scouted it. Well, he has. If he puts all of his citizen off of wood over onto food here and gold, he's got the food up here. He can actually hit the heroic age and spam out Gontarius here, completely destroying Kimo's Slinger army. And the timing will hit roughly when that gold mine expires. And Kimo's going to be going straight classical units here. And we'll see how things are going to go. But I'm feeling a little... like we are seeing that Kimo here is going to be making some gazelle to eat on his town. And he definitely should be. But I mean, if he wants to go in with this strategy, it's vitally important to have two... Oh, he does have 2 monuments. Okay. Well, he should be fine here to make Gazelle to probably last, I would say, around about 12 to 15 villages on 2 monuments, just being able to produce this. As you're seeing farms getting thrown down on the back. Does he have Shadoof? He does have Shadoof, so those farms coming down going to help out a little bit here as well. As Kvoth does find some random goats out in the middle of nowhere. Kvoth's 3rd town center going to be coming up very, very shortly. Kimo will be looking like he's heading to the next age here. And I think this is just a mistake from Kvoth. Kvoth should be thinking about heroic age here, and he should have been hitting his heroic age at least by now. There's no reason why he shouldn't be in the heroic age right now, after all is said and done. He's just got no resources left. He's making Promethean here. The villagers and the slingers going to be coming out, and Kvoth doesn't have the answer to this slinger army. In fact, he's like just wasting resources on the Termite, which the slingers effectively, they don't counter the Termite, but they at least trade equally against them. And this is going to allow Kimo to get out of his base and get a second gold mine here relatively easy, especially because Kimo is going to have access to ancestors here as well. But the gold mine is just about expired. Some spearmen going to be coming through here as well. As the army pushes out for Kimo, the units here sitting on this position. 1 priest here. Got to be worried about that, as we do see a military barracks coming down in the middle of the map here for Kvoth. The Terma swinging around onto the back here, trying to find some units. He does spot the army out of position here quite significantly. If Kvoth can spot that and get some kills here, he's moving through, trying to find something to attack on this position, but not quite able to do that just yet. He's losing a Terma actually there with not the best of micro, as Kimo is going to be pulling back here for the time being. The gold mine has now expired, as Kimo is not actually in the heroic age just yet. Plenty of food in the bank, but not in the heroic age just yet, as the town center on this position going to be getting thrown up. Kvoth sending all of his units in onto this position, as we do see the shockwave coming down. So many spearmen getting pushed back by just a handful of slingers there, as the entirety of the army of villagers coming in to drop this town center on this position. And we see that Kvoth is going to have to retreat back. Kvoth now starting to make himself some Mamillo here. His farms are up. He's still got Giraffe on this position that he hasn't eaten, which is a big, big hit to Kvoth's economy. As the villagers now on this gold mine, the town center looks like it will be coming up. Kimo's going to be able to get himself all the gold he needs. Does he have shaft mine as well? He doesn't have shaft mine just yet, but he can research it at any point here. As the town center almost up, the Pharoah getting pushed back, does end up getting sniped. That's a big win there for Kvoth. Kvoth still sitting at a decent amount of population. The Promethean trying to stop this town center from going up the best as he can, as the slingers getting pushed back here. It's vitally important here that Kvoth stops the town center from going up. His Terma getting caught out a little bit by the villagers, getting a little bit of a fight in here, as the priest coming in to take some damage out, as the Terma trying to take down those slingers. Kimo's at 105 of 130 population. The Terma trying to take down the priest here as best as they can, as the town center has been denied for a little bit here. As those Promethean trying to take out everything on this position. There's not enough priests in here just yet for Kimo's. Kimo's not got the gold income to make them at this point. There's more military buildings coming up for Kvoth. Kvoth trying to full send on this position. The Wadjet is out. No heroes are through here at this point for Kvoth. Kvoth pulling back with his Mamillo. He does have a strong army now against those slingers, against those Terma. Slingers and spearmen. Not building that many Terma left here anymore, but he does still need an answer for the Wadjet, for the priest here. We do see that the population is 135 for Kvoth, as he's trying to stop this town center from coming up. Still trying to get some good damage done, but now Kimo going to start being able to get himself out some axemen, and because Kvoth is not in the heroic age here, he's got a ton of wood in the bank. The town center here will end up coming up for Kimo, and Kvoth is going to have to figure out a different way forward, as the town center is going to be getting a whole bunch of damage here done. One thing that Kimo can do here to defend this really, really easily is actually garrison inside the town center with those units. It keeps his units at 100% HP, and the town center is going to start dealing huge amounts of DPS onto the enemy units. It's one thing that I think players are just not that aware of, is how much of a boost the town center actually gives if you garrison 25 units into it. There's more villagers getting taken down. Kimo's town center might start becoming more of a liability than anything else here in this game. As the army of Kvoth, he's just happily sitting in. He has plenty of resources in the back. He can pump buildings up all over the place. He's got himself 5 military barracks on this position with the upgrades coming through. Villagers getting pushed off of this gold mine. It's the only gold right now that Kimo's got access to. But Kimo is now sitting at 130 of 145 population. The villagers now over on this gold mine as the Kvoth army coming through to check this out. There's 28 villagers here. As Kimo's at 72 villagers, picking off this army is going to be, picking off these villagers is going to be a big hit to the economy of Kimo, whereas Kvoth's economy is just motoring forward. He's going to be able to advance to the next age here very, very shortly. More military barracks getting thrown up here for Kvoth. There's a ton of villagers getting cleaned up. Kimo's actually at 0 food at this moment. He's got himself 8 farms over here. He's got himself 14 farms total. He's just trying to eat the food on the front here. Those berries are just not going to be getting grabbed that easily. The Carabal's doing tons of damage over there as the army has to pull back. The gold tier going to continue to come through here as well. Hands of the Pharaoh coming through for Kimo. Kimo's now sitting at full population as the army's still just trying to break through on this position. We do see Kvoth coming in with his Murmillo army to take down these villages as best as he possibly can. As the slingers doing some damage on this position, trying as best as they can to hold on. The Murmillo pulling back now as Kvoth is kind of dropped in terms of population. He's got so many resources, ladies and gentlemen. What is he going to do with this? I mean, I'm thinking he's probably just going to spam out palaces here. Just throw up 3 palaces on the front here. 1, 2, 3, and try and put more pressure onto this town center. As Kimo is effectively stuck in the classical age, given he still needs to get out another 15 villages after losing all of those. Kvoth can get all of his upgrades through. He's getting himself immediate fortified town centers, heavy archers. Everything else is coming down. Do we see some palaces coming down as well? Yes, there's 1 palace on the way here for Kvoth. Kvoth needs a little bit more time here to get his army through. Is he spamming out Arcus? Yes, he is. Arcus are starting to come through here. He's got tons of military buildings to push. But the thing is here, Kimo's just got mass slingers. So, I mean, what you really want here at this exact moment is either mass destroyers or mass Contarius to break through these slingers. We'll see if Kvoth is going to be able to work that out. He doesn't really have the resources to make that happen. As a shockwave comes through, the Murmillo are going to be able to get some good trades here in on this location as the slingers are sniping down those archers quite nicely. The palace is up, going to be helping out Kvoth quite a bit here as Kimo's population drops down now to 120 population as the army pushes through, takes down the priest, takes down the Pharaoh. The Wadjet over here can get sniped down by the Stymphalian birds as well, as that's exactly where it's going. Kimo drops down now to 118 of 145 population as the slingers pulling back over here as well. The Arc is doing some decent damage on this position as now the Stymphalian bird's going to be trying to target down the villagers on this position to hurt Kimo's economy even more as Kimo does climb back up to a 76 population, but he just doesn't have the production to keep on losing these units. Meanwhile, we see a raid coming through to hit the villagers over on the back here, take down those priests as well. Axemen popping out. Do we see any destroyers coming out? Yes, we do. They're going to be able to start taking down the town center, and Kimo is on the back foot quite significantly here as this one town center is just not enough to hold the aggression coming through. The Murmillo on this gold mine as well. Kimo in really bad shape here. We see Kvoth checking this gold mine over here, seeing that there's nothing over there. We do see an oracle on this position for Kvoth to check that one out as well. As the Arcus cleaning all of the priests up and everything else. Kimo sitting at 105 or 145 population. The problem for Kimo right now, and this is a problem that happens with a lot of Egyptian players, he doesn't have the production here to support the economy that he has here. You can see 1,000 wood in the bank, 152 gold, 90 population. His army is now just simply dying faster than it's getting produced, and he just doesn't have the production here. And in that moment, Kimo will be tapping out. Kvoth gets the dub here against Kimo's set. I was thinking that the strategy here from Kimo just really didn't make sense. It's always going to be losing to some sort of mid-game timing from a Oranos player. The economy of set just does not keep up with Oranos here. I mean, you can look at the post game to see it, and it's just, it doesn't matter. You're just not going to keep up with this. at this point here, when the attacks start coming and your villages start falling, you just can't keep up with the economy. And you see the units killed, lost. It's just, Kvoth's also in front of that here. Really, what you absolutely need to do, if you're going one town center as set, you need to get to the heroic age. You just need to. You cannot go for a one town center, delayed second town center, advanced time is set. If you want to go for 2 town centers here is set, it needs to be an immediate second town center. I'm talking like a 4-minute, 2-second, 4-minute, 30-second second town center here to help you get that economy you need to stay in the game. Kimo doesn't do that here, and Kvoth gets the dub fairly simply. If you guys like this game, enjoyed this game, please consider hitting the follow on the Twitch. If you're on the YouTubes, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys in the next game.